Good morning, Victorians. Welcome back to the new year. Happy New Year. Today I'm going to spend about 10 minutes to go through what blended learning is like in 2021. Just a brief background of what is blended learning. Now, this shouldn't be too unfamiliar to all of us. In the middle of last year, after the circuit breaker, Minister of Education, then Minister of Education, Minister Ong Yi Kang, said we wanted to review how we can blend classroom learning with digital online learning. Digital online learning essentially is what we experienced during HBL days during circuit breaker. Then, at the tail end of last year, the new Education Minister, Mr. Lawrence Wong, they're not contradicting each other, don't worry, said that yes, we'll still have blended learning from 2021, middle of 2021 onwards, all right, and HBL days will be soon part of a regular part. Now, I'm not going to talk about HBL days for now. I'm going to talk about blended learning model, all right, and contextualize it in VJC and what does it mean to all of us. Now, just look at this word blended learning again. I think essentially Minister Ong summed it all up. It's essentially about blending our face-to-face lessons, which what you are going to have definitely in 2021, with the online learning bit, which you experience in circuit breaker. So that is all. Now I want to talk about, we have learned a lot during our HBL experiences in 2020. What are the few things that we learned? First, no matter what you say, like it or not, all of us, me, teachers, students, parents, stakeholders, are actually a lot more technically savvy compared to 2019. All right, we are definitely technically more savvy and we are able to handle the online learning bit. Two, we are actually also more aware of the potential pitfalls of online learning. For example, all of us may say, hey, we are getting a bit lazy because no teacher to monitor me, eyes not on me, I know that I will be a bit slacker. We know, teachers alike, we know. But are we going to use all these experiences when we come to 2021, yeah? Okay? Lastly, actually we are also aware of the key success factors. As a teacher myself, I know that there are a few key success factors that are useful, that I can use when we do HBL. For example, if you are talking about learning at home, dedicated space at home is useful, all right? Frequently checks on students are very useful. Turning on the camera to see everybody's facial expressions are also useful. So, putting all three together, actually we are a lot better off to handle online learning this year. So, in what sense can we expect online learning and blended learning to look like in VJC? Today I'm going to talk about it. We have all experienced our online lectures last year, correct? And I think all of us have gotten used to it. I think we all realize that actually it's very useful because you can actually plan your own learning, you can rewind, you can pause, you can go faster. We're going to take one step further this year. We're going to introduce something called self-directed learning periods. This will replace all lecture periods, or rather most actual lecture periods of most subjects. So in your timetable, you only see self-directed learning periods and you don't have math lectures, chemistry lectures, physics lectures, etc. In essence, what is it? Few points I want to say. One, self-directed learnings are ring-fenced for your own academic learning. Okay, ring-fence, that means it is timetable, nobody can touch it. Okay, it is for your own academic learning. Two, like I said just now, all your SDL periods are non-subject specific. What does it mean? It only means that you are going to plan which subject you are going to handle, which subject you're going to learn during these periods. Because sometimes you may feel like, oh, today, last year when you did, for example, it was a math lecture, and actually you feel like doing a chemistry lecture, but you're scared of math lecture scold you. But this year, we're going to take one step further because we're confident that actually all Victorians are able to arrange your own time be independent, and then learn at your own pace. 3, sorry. The amount of time that, later I'll show you an example of your timetable, the amount of time dedicated for SDL, for your online learning, is only a guide. Some of us may take a little bit more time. All right? Then feel free to take a little bit more time. Yes? So it only serves as a guide. You need to make more time, go ahead and use them. Next, no CCA activities are to be conducted. Why? I go back to the first point. It is ring-fenced for your individual academic learning. Therefore, no CCAs are to be conducted. No CCA meetings of any sort, whether by teachers, initiated by teachers, students. If your teachers tell you, CCA, come and see me, go and see any academic teacher. No teacher will actually do it, to be very honest. Lastly, it belongs to you and you only, not the teacher, not any other student. For example, your friends come and tell you, hey, let's go and do this, go and do that, go and do whatever CCA activity, related activity, blah, blah, blah. You realize that if you waste that 1 hour doing something else, just because there are no teachers supervising during that period, if you use it for some other purposes, you realize that you have to make it up for it. I repeat one more time, any hour lost, not used for learning, you somehow will have to make it up for it. So the most frequently asked question now is then, sir, SDL periods, can I go home and do my learning? Now, it look very silly on me and on the school if you say, no, sorry, you must learn only in T12 or you must learn only in V36. Correct? So, I want to clarify, SDL periods belong to you and is ring-fenced for your learning. And the good news is mostly they are mostly at the end of the day. If you want to learn in school, by all means, please find a corner, or you can learn in groups, doesn't matter, do it. But if you've realized that you actually learn better at home, then please feel free, go ahead, learn at home. I want to re-emphasize again, the amount of time is a guide, but it is about there. You definitely need the amount of time. Yep. So, this is an example of a timetable. You realize that the circled parts are self-directed learning periods at the end of the day. I just want to clarify, now sometimes you see at the start of the day and it's tied with some other lessons, which actually means, for example, if it's tied to the H1 lesson in the morning, the H1 students will attend lessons. That means the H2 students are expected to do your own online learning, or rather your self-directed learning on your own. All right, you are expected to use that time. Now then you ask, how come the H1 lessons don't need more time for self-directed learning? Actually, they do. In the middle of the day, when H2 lessons are going on, when H1 having free periods, we no longer call them free periods. Actually, that's to make up for your SDL, self-directed learning, online learning. All right, so that is your timetable. To help all of us pace yourself, then you may say, sir, I don't know when I need to do what for self-directed learning. I'm sure your teachers will regularly remind you. But for everybody to be clear, the things that need to be covered for the SDL periods, all right, scheme of work for term 1 and term 2 will actually be available on this site. All right, you can actually see it from student.vjc.sg as well. For everybody to know, you plan yourself. All right. Some do's and don'ts. You have to use this to complete your online lessons or other assignments. All right. If you have any other assignments to do, can go ahead do it. Self-directed learning. All right. Please, if you need to consult teachers, can, because the periods will belong to you. You say, sir, I need to consult you. Can. Teacher one-to-one can. You don't go and gather 10 other pupils and 2 other students and say, I have friends, I come, because they may not want to come along. No. All right? Please consult teachers on your own. Remember, those periods belong to you and you only, not the teacher, not other students. Lastly, I said it just now, you are not confined to your T12, V36, etc. You can do it anywhere. In school, if you can find a good place in school, well and good. If not, if you want to go home because there are no other activities after that, you are allowed to go home, which actually is a very, very big plus, because some of us may say, oh, then you look at your timetable now, your day is quite short with the absence of project work and mother tongue. And please, as J2s, I'm very sure that you need more time to consolidate on your work and learn better. All right? Some don'ts. First, no CCA meeting, training, whatever. No, sorry, self-directed learning. No extra lesson, makeup lesson, remedial lesson, just because everybody is free. Do not ask teachers. Teachers will refuse you right from the start. Yeah, I hope that is clear. At this point, I want to say that when I describe this to a J3, this SDL periods to a J3, this student said, oh, sir, that means really got to be very independent. Very, very, very independent, because you plan your time properly. If not, then you waste time, right? Yeah, absolutely right. Now, if you choose to use your SDL lessons because Russell Wu said that, oh, can go home, then you actually don't go home. You go Parkway Parade, you go and hang out. Every hour wasted there, you're going to make it up somewhere. And at this point, I want to remind all of us that CT1s are only 9 weeks away. No kidding. Right, only 9 weeks away. You will have to start revision very soon. All right. So I'm confident that given the shorter days you have, you pack the tutorials in, you have shorter time, more time for you to work your schedule round. I'm confident that we all can learn better, and Victorians are always something more. All right, as what we have seen in our Minecraft e-open house. Wow, I'm so proud of Victorians. So let's do this. I think we are probably the only college who are going to do this. And I think let's make the most of it. I end off with this. And the key to success is really consistency. If you consistently do work every day, I'm very sure all of us will do very well. Thank you, and New Cine Labori.